Hi there, this is John Bristow, and just want to spend a couple of minutes here showing you a really cool capability of Microsoft Live Labs Pivot. If you haven't seen Pivot before, this is the tool. Essentially what it allows you to do is aggregate and interpolate massive data sets. Here what I've done is I've taken the top 500 users by reputation from a site called Stack Overflow and mapped them into this tool set. What a tool like Pivot allows me to do is ask various questions of the data set in a very rich and meaningful way. So for example, I can say, show me all the users on Stack Overflow who have a reputation over, say, 73,000. And you can see how the representation of that data set is shown here within the tool. I can also add additional dimensions to that data set to get further information, such as show me all of those users who were created in the year 2009. Tools like Pivot allow me to slice and dice this data in a rich and meaningful way. Not only that, I can also drill in on each individual user and see more information about that. You'll notice here that we incorporate search results from Bing. I can also, if I so choose, open up the URL which is associated with the user's profile and go to that page. So it's very much like a web browser experience, except what we're doing is we're browsing against data. So as I said before, this is for the top 500 users on Stack Overflow by reputation. This is the site. If you haven't seen it, you can go to stackoverflow.com. Reputation is a score that's calculated based on the actions that an individual user does on this site. The purpose of this site, by the way, is to basically provide a forum where developers or programmers can ask questions and answer them. So this is a site that provides an API, and if you go to the blog for Stack Overflow, you'll see that the Stack Exchange API, which is the API for a number of subsites, is now in the public beta. So if you go to stackapps.com, there you'll find a bunch of information about how you can query and consume those APIs. The way that I did this was relatively simple. I utilized a .NET class library which aggregates that API called the Stack Overflow.NET project, which is on Codeplex, and I simply utilize that within the context of a C# file. So if we take a look at my solution here, this is a simple console application, and all it does is simply instantiates a instance of the Stack Overflow client providing input parameters, and then aggregates that data and then outputs an XML file, which is this file here, this so.cxml file. A cxml file is a collections file, which is what Pivot actually ultimately looks for to render out all of that content. This is the dialect here. So here you can see this is the cxml file. It's just simply XML, and it defines three key things: a collection, categories, and items. So a collection is simply a group of items. The categories or facet categories are those things that you wish to pivot on. So for example, reputation, create date, etc. And then the items that underpin it are the information that you obviously want to take a look at within the context of Pivot. Very simple to create these collections yourself just by conforming to the schema that's defined. And if you want to find out more about Pivot, you can go to getpivot.com and check out the developer info link there, which defines all of that. So some action items: go check out stackapps.com and go build out an application. Feel free to leverage the .NET class library to make your life a little bit simpler. So that's on Codeplex. And then finally, make sure to check out Pivot at getpivot.com.